100 days, 100 movies. It's time for Enter the Dragon. This is just an iconic like 70s action film. This is like the first of its genre, like the Hollywood like kung fu movies, if you consider it like Hollywood martial arts movies. The biggest Bruce Lee movie ever. Overall, I really liked it. It's just a classic 70s action film with a lot of really fun special effects and like action scenes and choreography. The acting is pretty iconic. I love Roper in it. I think he was one of the best. To just kind of start with a brief synopsis, basically it's about a man named Lee, who is played by Bruce Lee, who joins a martial arts tournament on this island held by this human and drug trafficker. And he's going there in order to, he's basically hired as a spy to find out the crimes that he's committing and get like evidence for them so that they can actually like prosecute him. It's funny. It's very Hollywood. It's a spy movie mixed with like action. Like it's a spy movie mixed with like kung fu elements, which makes a really cool blend. And it really ends up being very fun. There's kind of like two plots going on. It's the tournament on the island and everything involving that, and then the underground parts where he's trying to infiltrate and find out what's going on with all the like drug and human trafficking. My likes. Again, I'll say this once, I'll say it a million times. This movie is so iconic. Like almost every shot, you're like, okay, I think I've seen or heard of this somewhere. It's just such an iconic film. All the dialogue is delivered in such like a grandeur way where it's you can only help but like smile when people are saying stuff. The acting for Roper by I think it's John Saxon. I really liked his acting. He just plays such like a charming character. His whole thing with like trying to place bets and his opening scene is great. And just overall, all of the like they open each character has like their little backstory. Williams, Roper, and Lee all have their little backstory, and you get like a little opening shot with them and like what their whole deal is. And the Roper gets confronted by some gang members, and he owes them money. And then he beats them up and goes back. He's like, "So how much money I have?" And his assistant or whatever is like $64. And he like up to that point you think he's this like wealthy guy, but no, he's struggling. So he goes to the island to basically get money, and he throughout the film he's like doing a bunch of bets and stuff. And I think that's just a really good touch. It's little character things like that that make a film more interesting overall, and I love when they do that. The Coen brothers are known for that, giving characters small quirks and like giving them a lot of love and passion, like past what you need, so that they really feel like real people. The action is great. I mean, Bruce Lee and his all of his noises. I love Bruce Lee's like his whole energy is hilarious. How he like stares off. He has such an intensity. I don't think you see him smile once this entire film. But yeah, the action overall is incredible. When he whips out the nunchuck, he's whipping it around and he slaps a bunch of people, and it's just him fighting a ton of guys. It's great. It's great. The progression of the film is pretty good. It builds and builds, and then you have the climax at the end where they kind of all fight. There's the off-camera death of the woman that Roper was with, and I thought that was a little anticlimactic. Overall, I have a problem with the anticlimacticness of the film, but I'll get to that. Bruce Lee, again, it's Bruce Lee. All of his noises, all of his action. It's great. I mean, I knew that going into it. He has a lot of character to him, and it's just really fun to watch him on screen. Okay, my dislikes. Not that much. It's just mainly the final action scene with like the mirror room. It was interesting. It was a great spectacle because I have no clue how they filmed in there without the camera being visible. That's actually crazy. It was like it's a room entirely made of mirrors and you can't see the camera. I don't know really how they did that, but they did it. But I do think it was a little anticlimactic and it went on for way too long. And it's a little confusing because it's just a single room with a bunch of mirrors, but they shoot it like it's like a mirror maze, but it's not. And it just goes on for a little too long. Before that was great. Before they enter the mirror room, I thought that was a fun, interesting fight. They keep like punching. They like he keeps clawing at him. They do like these jump slow-mo kicks, and then he gets slashed, and then he does another one, and then he kicks him in the face. It's great. It's cheesy. It's amazing. But when they go into the mirror room, it's just like, what the hell? What's happening? It went on for way too long, and then he finally kicks him, and it just knocks him into the spear, and he dies. I'm like, okay, that could have been a little better, but it's just that's just a small qualm, but I still think that's like a little bit like that's a small issue I have. But I think it's just like it kind of takes away from the ending a little bit, but still it doesn't. The rest of the film is really good. And then another thing, it's a 70s film, especially 73 action film. The pacing is going to be slow. That's just kind of how the like status quo is. You can't really have an action movie without slow pacing at times. So like a lot of the scenes were drawn out more than they needed to be. That's just like that's kind of how it is. I still thought it was good, but it's just, that's like a small thing. My favorite scene is when Williams is like confronted by the boss guy. Like, he goes into his office and they're talking, and he basically brings up like, he says that he's obsessed. All he cares about is victory. He doesn't actually care about fighting. The guy says, "Oh, when you lose one day, it's gonna be bad." And then he delivers the amazing quote, "When defeat comes, I won't even notice. I'll be too busy looking good." Williams says that, and it's just incredible. And then he proceeds to get the absolute shit kicked out of him and killed by the boss guy because he has a metal arm, and that was metal. He like gets knocked into this room, and there's all these women who are like all drugged up, and they're like laughing at him as he's just getting the like shit kicked out of him, and he gets his head like caved in with the boss guy's iron steel arm. It's just great overall. I loved that scene. I thought it was super funny. And there's like birds flying around too while they're fighting. It's a very good spectacle. Yeah, so Enter the Dragon, there's nothing crazy thematic about it. It's mainly just a classic action film. They focused on that, and it shows. For 73, this is incredible. There's very few action movies that will even come close to this one. I love some of the shots. They had a lot of trick shots where it'd be like following like someone's fist, or it'd be following someone's like weapon. I thought that always looked really fun. They did a pretty good job getting you into the combat. So just as an action film, this one like went crazy. Like it is a very, very good action movie, and it's very good for the 70s. So yeah, for my rating, I'm gonna give it a 9. I think that this is my favorite movie I've seen so far. I think it surpasses Heretic a little bit just for this. Again, I said this about Heretic. They kind of cheaped out at the end thematically, and it's going to be a movie that's going to be forgotten in like 15 years because of that. This movie will probably never get to be forgotten. This is just an iconic, classic action movie from the early 70s. Revolutionary, created a genre basically. So it's just, you can't really get over this. It's great. When you think of great 70s films, Enter the Dragon enters your mind. Like, that's just how it will always be. And that's just a testament to how great this film is. So yeah, 9 is that's definitely very fair. And that is just my rating. It is probably my favorite movie I've watched so far. A little bit above Heretic, and I really liked it. Also, I just have to say, the music was incredible. Like, I usually don't notice music too much when it comes to film. Usually with like games and television, I notice music a lot more because it's usually a little more pronounced because you're able to have themes to characters and stuff like that. But when it comes to a movie, they're usually too short form to have like character themes or like instrumentals that like fit, like you understand what's happening because of the instrumental. This movie though, the music, this film though, the music was incredible. Like it will start off as like this like classic, like almost like Chinese Japanese style, like dun 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 dun, with like I think it's a kubo, like one of those like guitars, and then it transforms in like this rock beat. Like they add the rock onto it, and they kind of add like a little bit of distortion to it, so you'll have this like electric kubo almost, and then these crazy drums on top. It's like, and you'll have like oh my god, it's so good. And the menacing tense music isn't like stand up, but the action music when they're like, especially when they're fighting that final battle, like the tournament battle before he goes and confronts the big boss in the mirror room, that entire scene was incredible. They beat up the big guy. Roper beats the big guy he bites his calf. That was incredible. And then a bunch of people coming out of the woodwork, and they're fighting everyone. And then the spy who sent on the island before that girl, she frees all the prisoners, and there's this huge climactic battle. They're all fighting. It's like it's blasting that guitar music. Oh my god, that scene was great. I love that scene. It's close second to the Williams quote. I'll be too busy looking good quote. I'm gonna use that. That is I love that quote. This movie is just, it's so cheesy. It's so cheesy, but it works so well. Oh my god, it knows what it is. It knows what it is, and it's great. Williams also says when he notices that people enter the room, he turns around and he looks at the guys entering who are coming basically to fight him. And he looks back at the big boss guy. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit. But he looks back at the big boss guy and says, "You're a comic book man." And then he starts fighting them. And it's just so great. It knows what it is. It knows it's this like pretty cheesy like action flick, but it puts it together so well. And it really leans into that, and that's why it's so lovable. Yeah, I loved Enter the Dragon. I mean, going into it, I felt like I was gonna like it because it's Enter the Dragon. I've heard this movie 100 times. I've heard of this movie 100 times. I've just been waiting to watch it. Classic, absolute classic. I'm probably will. I mean, I've got movies to burn, so I'm probably just gonna go down the list of some of these Bruce Lee like classic like 70s like action films. I might just go down the list, but this was a really good one to start. I love this one. But yeah, that's Enter the Dragon. There's not much more I could talk about it. I mean, I could sit down and like explain scenes I like, but overall, it's just you just have to watch it. It's just a fun movie. Like, there's nothing really I could get into it about. Again, the thematicness not that great. I like the whole thing where he's like, you have a point that you won't go past. So he's talking to Roper, like he puts the cat in the guillotine. Like, there's some thematic stuff when it comes to that, but it's not prominent enough to really give the movie a lot more like thematic like glory. Like, because for me it comes to a movie, I kind of look at three things: influence, fun, and thematic like weight. If all three are really high, you get 10 out of 10s like Seven Samurai, which I think hits all three of those exceptionally well. But if like one of them's lacking, I can still look at the other two and accept it for what one it's leaning into, because this one is definitely leaning way more into the fun and the influence of it. So I give it credit for what it does there. If it hit the third one, that probably would have brought it to a 10. If this movie was thematically incredible, this would have been like a 10 out of 10. But it's because they forego the thematic weight for the fun of it. That's not a bad thing, but that's just what's withholding it from becoming a 10 in my eyes. But yeah, what it's aiming to do, it does incredibly well. And it's just overall a really fun action movie. Also, back to what I was saying before about the woman. The anticlimacticness is something I disliked about it. They will have these plot points or these characters set up, and then they kind of just lose or die with like very little like build up to it. Like, even the big boss at the end, he just gets kicked into the spear. It's not this super crazy moment. It just kind of happens. And I kind of wish they did a little bit more when it comes to the actual moment itself. But still, it's fine. It doesn't destroy the movie by any means, but it's like a little thing I noticed. But yeah, that's Enter the Dragon. I really loved it. I thought this is probably one of my favorite action films I've seen, up there with like The Crow. That's probably my favorite action movie. That's one of my favorite movies overall. I think this one gets close to that. I really liked Enter the Dragon. So yeah, watch it. Give me recommendations. I've yet to say this before, but like and subscribe. I know this video will get maybe 15 views like the other ones, but it doesn't matter. I'm doing this for myself. Love you. Goodbye.